All right, welcome back to the Amato Report. Now we have a very special guest, someone I've known for many years. We used to work out at the same gym where he was a trainer and I was a gym member in La Jolla, California. He played college football at the University of Miami. He's a Hurricane. Also, a former Marine who served in Iraq, two-time cancer survivor, a PTSD survivor. And now he's the founder and a CEO of a nonprofit called the Mission to Live Foundation. The Mission to Live Foundation provides support for first responders and U.S. military veterans. Let's welcome Jay Kopelman. Jay, good to see you. It's been a long time. You were in studio with me way back in the day at One America News.
Way back in the day.
And prior to that, even in studio on my San Diego radio show.
Absolutely. Good
So
times.
yeah,
Good times to remember, Rick.
good times to remember. Now you I should mention you're a world champion in jiu-jitsu as well. And you're
That's true.
looking in great shape. That's what made me think of it.
Thanks. Not bad for an old man, right?
That's right. Tell me about the Mission to Live Foundation.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much, first of all, for having me on and for this opportunity to talk to your audience about Mission to Live Foundation and what we do. Uh, Mission to Live Foundation was actually founded by a guy called Martin Polanco, who is an MD and has been working in the psychedelic medicine space for 25 years. Martin originally was training to be an ophthalmologist and then had a family member who was dealing with some pretty severe addiction. And they got her to a place that treated her using a medicine called ibogaine. It's a plant medicine. It's actually an alkaloid of the iboga plant that grows primarily in equatorial Africa in the nation of Gabon. This medicine is used to help addiction, to treat PTSD, traumatic brain injury,
Hmm.
other forms of mental health that has previously proven treatment resistant to traditional methods. So yeah, so it's been around for a couple of years now, and I came on board as the CEO in December of 2024.
Hmm.
Um, as you said, our mission is to provide scholarships to veterans and first responders to allow them to access these life-changing, life-saving sometimes therapies in medically supervised, safe and effective places where providing these medicines is legal or unregulated in that country.
Is this something which you experienced, Jay? And I asked the question, I wonder how you're connected to it before becoming CEO.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question, Rick. And yes, the short answer is yes. I have done these medicines. In March of 2024, I went to a retreat at the clinic that Martine actually runs in Baja, California. It's called the Mission Within. And I had such a profound experience, such a life-changing experience that I approached friends of mine about donating to Martine's foundation. And the way this ecosystem typically works is that you cannot get a scholarship unless you're a special ops guy, right? So like Navy SEALs, Green Berets, Army Rangers, tier one operators. So in the Marine Corps, MARSOC, that's typically what it's limited to. And the organization that gave me my scholarship felt that I had enough association with those units because I did work with tier one units for quite a bit of time in Iraq, and one of the units that I had been in a couple times in the Marine Corps was a small. We had small teams that I could take my team of guys anywhere in the world, jump out of airplanes, call in close air support, naval gunfire back in the day, and artillery in support of our allies or the Army. So they gave me a scholarship, and I went to my retreat. There were six of us there, two Navy SEALs, another Marine, soldier, and an airman. And there were only three of us, though, on scholarship. The two SEALs, one of whom is a former Dev Gru guy, so he was SEAL Team 6. And I started thinking about all this, like, why is it that so many people who need this don't have access to the funding to help them pay for it? Because it's not inexpensive.
Hmm.
And so I approached my friends. They support Marines, dogs, and their church. That's where their big donations go. And so I told them about it. They saw the big change in me, and they said they would consider it. You know, they thought it was important enough to at least consider. And I explained the whole situation about how, you know, non-operators have limited or no access to scholarships. And so the following week was their family office board meeting. And the next day I got an email from them saying, yeah, we discussed this at our board meeting and we think this is very important. So we'd like to begin by committing $1 million to treat,
Oh,
yeah, right, to treat non-special operations Marines. So they made that original commitment. We built a pretty robust program for those Marines around that. I was still not involved as like an executive director or anything at this organization. And that money has allowed us to treat 100 Marines. So when we've done that, we've completed the first 100 on their donation. I became the executive director in December of 24 after Martine asked me to come in like on an interim basis in August of that year. Came in full time in December. In November of last year, the board decided to change my title to CEO, and we've been off and running ever since. You know, that same donor has since committed another $1 million this year, so we're going to do the same thing. And what's really nice is their money allowed us to start a research program with those 100 Marines. It's somewhat anecdotal because we're using surveys right now to do that research. So they get 6 surveys before they go to their retreat that they have to complete. These are from the DSM-5, so they're a typical battery of psychological surveys that people take for like quality of life, depression, traumatic brain injury, post-traumatic stress disorder, substance use, and suicidality. And so they're given those before they go, right after they go to their retreat, and have done their medicine journey, and then 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year later. So it will take us a couple of years to finish collecting the data on all these guys, maybe 3 years really, by the time we get them all through. But we're finding that the outcomes are, statistically significant, and that we are seeing tremendous results in lower depression, lower substance use disorder. Sleep is improved. Quality of life is tremendously improved. Like these, the people that go through, even 6 months later, could no longer be diagnosed for having PTSD.
wow. Jay, when I hear psychedelic treatment, um, I don't fully understand what that means, but is it available in U.S. or does someone have to leave the U.S. to be serviced by it?
So the way it works is that we have to send folks to centers that are offshore. So typically Mexico. I
Okay.
used 3 different providers in the Baja area to send the scholarship recipients these medicines. And I call them medicines because they actually heal. They're not drugs that really just mask symptoms, right? So people take a variety of different drugs for depression that doesn't help to heal it. It just kind of helps them to get through their day.
Got
And
it.
oftentimes those drugs have side effects that really exacerbate the condition and bring about other, health challenges that that person has to now deal with. So the typical treatment course for veterans with PTSD, traumatic brain injury, depression, they go to the VA, they're seen by a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and they're given a cocktail of drugs, right? And then maybe they're offered talk therapy, either group setting or individual. And what we're finding is that most of the people who go through that program have treatment resistant level PTSD or depression.
Hmm.
So the existing Western medicine uh, care model doesn't really work for them. So Martine, when he started out in this work, after he saw the amazing results for his family member, he decided to open a clinic in TJ, a recovery clinic called Crossroads. And he was treating primarily opiate addicts using Ibogaine. So he had two veterans come in, they were addicted to heroin. He treated them with Ibogaine. And like the next day, their addiction was gone.
Oh,
They did not have withdrawal symptoms, and they realized that they could no longer clinically present for PTSD. So a light bulb went off for Martine. This was like 2015. And then in 2016, he opened the Mission Within and started treating veterans, primarily special ops guys, because the thinking was if we can get these guys to do it, others will follow.
yeah.
And also when you're talking about high level operators, they're also typically going to be more disciplined and stick to a program afterward. And so back to your original question, these medicines are Schedule 1 in the US. So DEA has them as Schedule 1 drugs, meaning that they are addictive and have no medical use.
Hmm.
Which is interesting because it's exactly the opposite. So the two medicines that are served are Ibogaine and 5-MeO DMT, which comes from the Sonoran desert toad. They're very different medicines. They provide different experiences. The Ibogaine experience is typically 12 hours long, sometimes longer, sometimes a little shorter, but typically 12 hours. The 5-MeO DMT experience is anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes per dose. And the people who go to these retreats are typically given like 3 doses at a retreat to allow them to have what's called a breakthrough.
Got it. Wow. Uh, that's just amazing. And for our viewers, when Jay said TJ, that's local slang. It's Tijuana here, as we know TJ in San Diego. Not the high school I went to in Pittsburgh, Thomas Jefferson. It's not
No.
that.
No.
Uh, Jay, you were just on the Will Kane show recently on Fox News. So it's great that you're getting the exposure that you deserve and getting the word out there. Website, Jay?
It's missiontolivefoundation.org. And we're all over social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, X, and LinkedIn for social media. I'd like to say that, this, as I mentioned earlier, it's not inexpensive to go do this.
Yeah.
So the average retreat is, a little more than $8,000. The average, I should say the average scholarship that we award, because the medicine is wonderful, but it's not a panacea. There's no silver bullets, no magic with this medicine. What it does is it provides the individual a pathway. It opens a door for them to heal if they participate in the integration coaching calls, if they begin a practice of meditation or breath work. And meditation is often the best tool to ensure long-term efficacy of these treatments.
Really?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So what we've done is we've built in additional integration coaching calls. So a typical retreat will offer 3 integration coaching calls following that person's medicine journey. We don't think that's enough. We know it's not enough. And so we try to ramp it up to 8 to 12 integration coaching calls. And the coaches are really, they're all trauma informed psychedelics therapists who have been doing this work for quite some time and have the knowledge and the insight to help the individual understand what the medicine is showing them. And that's the other part of it. You don't get to decide what you're going to experience. You can have all kinds of expectations and go down there, but these medicines show you what you need, not what you want.
Hmm.
I tell people it's best not to have any expectation, just to go with intentions and to be accepting. Just have go there in the spirit of acceptance and understanding, and let the medicine show you what it's going to. It's not always easy by any stretch of the imagination. Ibogaine is a very tough 12 hours. People purge during the experience, sometimes frequently, and so it's not fun. There's no way it's addicting. And in my case, it was a beautiful experience. Both medicines allowed me to grow and change my life. It pretty much saved my relationship with my son, and I'm forever grateful for that. Not just to the medicine, but to the people who do such a good job serving it, and then the care that I received afterward.
Jay, it's an important story. I really appreciate you joining us and sharing it with our audience. As you know, we're going to have you back frequently and we'll go into even more detail and get some more perspective. But you've done a great job in providing detail and perspective today. And again, missiontolivefoundation.org is the website. That's where anyone out there, if you'd like to, this is how you can contact Jay. Jay Kopelman, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, Rick. It's great seeing you again, brother.
Great seeing you too, brother. Back with more after this.